everybody. Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Today is Sunday, May 19th, 2019. It is the day of the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I want to thank everybody for listening and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and live right here on Twitch. On any of those platforms, just search for Catch, Hook, and Shoot. You'll be able to find the show. And thanks again to everybody for following on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. It's at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Hope everybody has had a chance to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Catch, Hook, Shoot. I've got some four different tiers there. Sorry about that. And with some pretty good benefits on each one, so I hope everybody will check it out. Like I said before, any money that is taken in through the Patreon page will go back into the show for upgrades and getting out to shows and conventions and things like that. We also have a store at Pro Wrestling Tees. It's prowrestlingtees.com. Got four pretty cool designs there, at least I think they are. So head on over there and check those out. It's prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. And as always, if you want to send me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com with any questions, comments, ideas, suggestions, anything along those lines. So getting into the news this week, starting off on kind of a sad note, former WWE diva Ashley Massaro passed away earlier this week. For those, I'm sure everybody's familiar with Ashley. She was the first ever Diva Search winner, was with WWE up until 2008. When she left WWE, it wasn't anything like she was fired or anything like that. She requested her release because her daughter was ill and she needed to be home to take care of her child. So, that right there should tell you a lot about her, that she's, a good person, good mother, cared a lot about her daughter and things like that. And just a very, very sad situation. She was only 39 years old. I do want to stress that no cause of death has been released as of yet. Police made a statement that it was non-criminal, so there was no police investigation. Assuming there's some type of autopsy, but unless the family releases the cause of death, it's not, not something that would be made public just like automatically, like if it was a criminal matter. There's been a lot of, rumors and stuff floating around out there that it was drug related, that it was suicide. There's no confirmation on any of that, on her cause of death or anything along those lines. So anything that's being put out there is 100% rumor. I mean, and then you got these ridiculous dirt sheet writers just putting out basically whatever they want, just showing no kind of respect for her family, or their privacy or anything like that. Had a fake, I believe it was a Twitter account or a fake social media account, claiming to be Shelly Martinez, the former Ariel from WWE and Salinas in TNA. Basically coming out and flat out saying that it was suicide, and that was picked up by some of the dirt sheets and other news outlets, actually, using that as confirmation that Ashley's death was a suicide, and wasn't, like I said, it was a fake account. Shelly Martinez called him out on it, said, this is not me, I didn't post this, I didn't write this. So just a lot of stupidity going on around this stuff, and people just trying to get clicks and get views, and make a buck off of somebody's passing. And it's just pitiful. It's pathetic. These people honestly should be shut down for doing this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a couple of these dirt sheet guys that just have no moral compass whatsoever. They're completely heartless and unfeeling and have no kind of empathy for other people or their families or their privacy or anything like that. One of them even chose to use a picture of Ashley. I don't know if it was from Maxim or some type of men's magazine, but one of the photo shoots that she did over her career. And obviously Ashley was a beautiful woman. She wasn't ashamed of her body. She did these, a lot of photo shoots over her career. And, not saying that the picture should be hidden or not like it was a big secret or anything, but when you're acknowledging somebody's passing, at least have some semblance of class about it, and don't use a sexualized photo to you know, announce or reference a person's death, because it's just it's very low class to me is what it is. So, but like I said, Ashley Massaro passed away, 39 years old this week, and condolences go out to her daughter and her family and her friends and her fans, and you know, just a horrible tragedy, a big loss. Moving on to some other news, I know you guys have heard me mention the Wrestling Behind Ringside Fan Fest. It's coming up next year in 2020 on July the 25th. I have a little more information for that for you. There will be, it's a one-day event. There will be two shows, one at 8 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. And the Super VIP tickets go on sale on June the 7th. Those are $200 each, but they include 15 photo ops. Now, that does not include two surprise superstars, WWE Hall of Famers, that are going to be there. But, yeah, it includes 15 photo ops, tote bag, collector cup, wristband. You get priority entry into both shows. And the first two guests have been announced, made official, and those are Pretty Paul Roma from formerly of WWE and WCW, former member of the Horsemen. Yeah, was a member of a couple of different tag teams in the WWE, the Young Stallions and Power and Glory. And the second announced guest is the Patriot Del Wilkes. Of course, was in both WCW and WWE, as well as other territories. You know, had some main event matches with Bret Hart in WWE. He was a member of the Stars and Stripes tag team in WCW with Buff Bagwell, back when he was Marcus Alexander Bagwell. So it's shaping up to be a really good show. And once again, that's the Super VIP tickets will go on sale June the 7th, 2019. Those are $200 each. And they include, like I said, 15 photo ops, tote bag, collector cup, silicone wristband, and priority entry into both shows. I also want to make an announcement. I will be holding a contest for 2 VIP tickets. The contest will be starting in July, and it's going to be called the Break the Code contest. And the way it's going to work, each week I'm going to drop a part of a phrase, just one word, and I'm going to do this for several weeks. And basically the way it's going to work is you guys will hopefully tune into the show every week, and I will, like I said, drop one word from the phrase each week, and at the end of the contest you put all those words together in the proper order. I'm going to be giving those out in a scrambled fashion, so it's not like you can just go from, you know, week one to the end of it and they'll be in order. You'll have to, you know, do a little work to put it in the right order. And so after that, I'm going to have either, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it by email or by Twitter post, like using a hashtag, something like that. But you know, within a certain time frame, once the all the hints are given out, after that you'll have a certain number of days or weeks to get your answers in, either via Twitter or via email. And at the end of that time period, I will take all of the names of the people who submitted the correct answers, put them into a bowl, pull one out, and that person will win 2 VIP tickets to the WBR Fan Fest 2020. Now, these tickets do not include travel or accommodation, so you have to cover your own travel to Louisiana and your own hotel and things like that. But it includes, you know, pretty much carte blanche for the show. You, like I said, you know, you get priority entry into both shows. You get all the photo ops minus the 2 surprise WWE Hall of Fame guests. So if you want photo ops or autographs with them, there will be a separate charge. But other than that, yeah, you're pretty much covered for the entire fan fest. So it's a great you know, great deal there. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Like I said, I'm going to be starting that contest in July, in a couple of months, and it'll run probably. I haven't decided how many weeks it's going to go yet, but like I said, tune in every week to get the part of the phrase, the clue, whatever you want to call it, and then at the end of that, you know, make sure you get your answers submitted. However, they're going to be taken either by Twitter or by email. And talking about Wrestling Behind Ringside, their Hall of Fame episode dropped this week. Make sure you check that out. I am a part of that show. I did several of the Hall of Fame induction speeches. So it, yeah, definitely check it out. They have some really good inductees this year, and it's definitely worth giving a listen. So, getting into the wrestling news for the week, some kind of gossipy type news. It looks like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch have confirmed that they're in a relationship, which has been a rumor that's been going around for several months. Was a rumor floating around out there that Sheamus was possibly injured, severely injured, and might be retiring, and this was based off of the fact that Cesaro was moved from SmackDown to Raw, and the bar was basically broken up. Looks like that's not the case. It's been refuted by several WWE superstars saying that Sheamus is not anywhere near retiring. He's in the prime of his career, so that's pretty much been blown out of the water. Asuka and Kairi Sane have a new tag team name, and that name is the Kabuki Warriors. A lot of people were kind of down on this name. I like it. I mean, I like the sound of it. And apparently, Asuka and Kairi came up with the name themselves, so it's not something that Vince McMahon or creative or something just kind of stuck them with. This was a name that they created for themselves. So Asuka and Kairi Sane are now known as the Kabuki Warriors. Some other announcements from WWE this week. They will be having their next Super Showdown pay-per-view in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on June the 7th. Some of the matches announced. Undertaker will be facing Goldberg, so that should be an interesting matchup there. Bobby Lashley's taking on Braun Strowman. That should be a good one with those two heavy hitters in there. Another interesting one looks like the Demon King Finn Balor is going to be making his return for this one. Finn's going to be breaking out the Demon persona in a Intercontinental title defense. So that's shaping up to be a pretty good show for those that are interested. I know a lot of people are not real big on the Saudi Arabia shows for WWE, and that's, it's understandable. But, I mean, WWE entered into a contract for a huge amount of money with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and they've chosen to honor it. I mean, it's a business decision, it's a money decision. It is what it is. So I'm not going to get into the whole politics of the thing. If you're against it, don't watch it. I mean, there are WWE superstars the last couple of Saudi shows that have refused to go because of the political climate there and things like that, and that's their prerogative. WWE's always been one, with these type of shows, they're not by all accounts, they don't force their superstars to perform. So, like I said, it is what it is. If you're not happy with it, then don't watch it. Me personally, I'm more than likely going to be checking it out on replay. I won't be home to watch it live because I work during the day. But so far I think it's shaping up to be a good show, so I'm definitely going to check it out. Some Impact news. Looks like Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux have both requested their release from the company. Now, Killer Cross's request apparently came earlier in the week. From what I read, Impact actually refused his request to be released from his contract. Apparently it was a money issue. He wanted a bump in pay, and they didn't give him that either, by all accounts. And then just yesterday or the day before, Scarlett Bordeaux requested her release, which not a big surprise. I think most people know that Scarlett and Cross are a couple, so you figure if one asked for their release, the other one would be following shortly. Another interesting piece of news from Impact is that apparently Jordynne Grace is not under contract. They offered her a 2-year contract back in October, and apparently the way the story is going is that it was never signed, never returned to Impact, and never executed. So she's basically been working on a per appearance deal and not as a contracted Impact wrestler. So that's kind of interesting if it's true. There's been no confirmation from Impact on this. This is just all, dirt sheet rumor and innuendo here. So we'll have to see what comes of this, if anything. But supposedly Impact is scrambling to get her signed to a contract, and can't really blame them. Jordynne Grace, one of the hottest competitors out there today, and if she's a free agent, you can be pretty sure somebody else is gonna snatch her up really, really quick. So hopefully Impact can get her locked down, but if not, we'll be seeing her pop up somewhere else in the near future. So let's get into the big events going on this week. First and foremost, we've got Money in the Bank taking place today. Looks like a pretty good card. I myself, I'm a big fan of the Money in the Bank ladder matches, and of course there's 2 of them now, both the men's and the women's, so I'm looking forward to those. Let's run down the card here real quick. We've got Becky Lynch actually has 2 matches on the card, since she is Becky Two Belts, has both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. She is defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans and defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Yeah, as far as these, let me run down the women's Money in the Bank match as well, real quick, because this all kind of ties in together with what I think might happen. Um, Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we've got Natalia, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Nikki Cross taking the place of Alexa Bliss. We'll get into that a little bit later. Bailey, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. Now, as far as who's going to win the Women's Money in the Bank, I'm pulling for Dana Brooke. I'm a big fan of Dana's, and she's been, really, really pushing to get more opportunity and things like that. And it looks like that's being given to her. So hopefully she can take advantage of it. I'd love to see her win the Money in the Bank. I think a lot of the fans would love to see her win it. She's got, a lot of support on social media and from the live audiences. So I'm pushing for Dana Brooke. But who do I think is going to win? I'm gonna go a little bit out of the box here. I'm going to say Ember Moon is going to end up being Miss Money in the Bank this year. I don't think Carmella is going to win it 2 years in a row. I don't know. I think that would be kind of underwhelming, and that's not a knock against Carmella. I think it's Ember's time to get that opportunity. Now that being said, Ember Moon winning the women's Money in the Bank, I can see this match happening early in the card, maybe possibly even first on the show. And the reason for that is I could see that briefcase being cashed in tonight. Now, Becky Lynch, like I said, has two matches. Her first match against Lacey Evans, I think Becky's going to retain. Then later on in the night, I'm sure it'll probably be towards the end of the show, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. I think Becky's going to retain in this one as well. Whether it's by clean victory or a DQ or, no contest, something crazy, who knows. But I think Becky is going to retain in both matches, but then I could see the winner of the women's Money in the Bank match, in this case, like I said, Ember Moon, coming out after Becky's had two matches, she's beat up, she's tired, and perfect opportunity for someone to cash in on her. And I don't necessarily think it would be a heel turn for Ember. I think it would just be her taking advantage of the situation and, quote unquote, making her own opportunity and taking the SmackDown Women's Championship from Becky Lynch. So that's my take on it. So I've got Becky retaining in both matches against Lacey and Charlotte, and then Ember Moon, after winning the Money in the Bank, coming and cashing in and winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. Probably not going to happen that way, but that's if I was a booker, that's how I'd book it. Moving on to some of the other matches, the men's Money in the Bank match, you got Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. Now this one, I think there's two possibilities in this. I want to see Drew McIntyre win it. I also think Andrade is a strong contender for it. So I think it's definitely going to be one of those two. If I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. I just think it's his time. It's time to pull the trigger on Drew McIntyre before he just kind of fades into obscurity, because he hasn't had a real clear storyline since WrestleMania, since the Shield kind of split up and Jon Moxley left the WWE. So I'm picking Drew McIntyre in this one. For the WWE Universal Championship, we've got Seth Rollins defending against AJ Styles. This one's been playing out on TV quite a bit the last few weeks. AJ kind of playing a little bit of the heel role, not overtly being heel, not doing anything super underhanded, but AJ Styles, can definitely play the heel, so I could see him, making a turn at some point possibly, but I think Seth Rollins is going to retain in this one. Next up, we've got Roman Reigns versus Elias in a singles match. Elias should win this match. I mean, yeah, Elias is very visible on WWE TV. Does not have a lot of matches, though. It's mostly just, segments with his guitar. Somebody comes out, he catches a beat down. That's really about it. If they want to push Elias as a strong superstar and, a main event level star, he needs to have some matches. He needs to get some wins. So I could definitely see him, defeating Roman tonight, and that's my pick, is Elias. Then we've got The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. I am picking The Miz for this one. Shane won at WrestleMania, so I think tonight is when Miz gets that one back. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. I think Kofi's going to retain. I don't see them taking the championship off of him this quickly. I mean, he just won it at WrestleMania. It's only been a little over a month, so I don't think they're going to take it off of him quite yet. Samoa Joe defending the U.S. Championship against Rey Mysterio. I think Samoa Joe is going to retain. Potentially could see Rey Mysterio's son Dominic getting involved somewhere or another. They've been using him kind of on screen, not really getting into any physical confrontations or altercations, but had Joe kind of getting in his face and things like that on Raw. So I could definitely see him, getting involved in the match somewhere or another. And there was the report not long ago that Dominic had signed a deal with WWE. I don't know how much truth there is in that. I didn't see a specific announcement from the WWE. But if so, they'll probably put him on TV to give him some exposure and things like that. But I don't see him being full-time on Raw right now. I'm sure he will go to the Performance Center and go through NXT because he's very, very young. I don't know how many actual matches he's participated in, if any. I know he's been training for quite a long time. Rey Mysterio's been sending him to train with various people all over the world, learning different styles from the lucha style to strong style and everything in between. So he's definitely got the education. He's definitely got the the pedigree for it. And he's he looks like he would be a pretty good. Just visually, he's much larger than his father. He's definitely over 6 foot. So I'm not thinking he's going to be part of the cruiserweight division like Rey was in WCW. Another interesting side note on this story came out earlier this week that Rey Mysterio wants to actually lose his mask to his son. I think that would be a really cool story if it takes place. It would be a really nice passing of the torch and keeping the Rey Mysterio name and the mask in the family to see. And I think it would just be something really cool to see to watch Rey pass that on to his son. Then we've got for the Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese defending against Arya Daivari. Tony Nese, kind of same thing like with Kofi Kingston. He has not been champion that long. I don't see them taking it off of him just yet. The Cruiserweight champions tend to hold titles for a good little bit, so I'm thinking Tony Nese is going to retain. Then we've got Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the Usos. Daniel Bryan has said he wants to bring tag team wrestling back up. He wants to see tag team wrestling be main event level, which I am all for. I love tag team wrestling, so I'm looking for Bryan and Rowan to retain in this particular match. So yeah, that's the card. Kind of another side note on this, as I said, for the women's Money in the Bank match, Nikki Cross is taking the place of Alexa Bliss. Now, the story that WWE put out is that Alexa's not medically cleared to compete, and of course, Dirt Sheets picked up on this, one in particular, who I'm not going to name because I refuse to give this particular guy any kind of publicity or direct any traffic his way, but this is the guy I referred to, I think it was last week, who kind of uses TMZ as his business model for what journalism is supposed to be, so that should tell you something right there about how credible this guy is. But this particular dirt sheet reporting that saying that Alexa's career is in jeopardy and things like that, and Alexa herself chimed in and said, my career is just fine. And it's I love seeing when actual wrestlers call the dirt sheets out on their BS. Nia Jax did the same thing to another dirt sheet who I won't name, a dirt sheet writer specifically, one who I've had a little bit of back and forth with on Twitter myself, saying that, Nia's going to be out till the first quarter of 2020, and Nia chimed in and said, hey, you're completely wrong, you better get some better sources. And, of course, this guy came back and said, my sources are great, and that's what's going around at WWE headquarters, and, it's ridiculous and hilarious to me at the same time. It's like you put this story out there, and you get called out on it for having wrong information, and then you're going to turn around and call the person who the story is about, who's calling you out, you're going to turn around and call him a liar, basically saying your sources know more than the actual person that this is happening to. And it's just, it kind of makes them look really stupid, in my opinion. I know they have their followers out there who take their word as gospel. Why, I don't know. But, it's like these guys get one story right in 5 years, and they automatically, oh, they're insiders, they know everything, they've got their finger on the pulse of WWE, and no, they don't, guys. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. And I put it out on social media myself last night. Unless your source is Vince McMahon, Triple H, or Stephanie McMahon, then it is questionable at best, because nobody is going to have every last bit of information. And like I said, I've always wondered what are these sources getting out of all this? Are they getting paid from these dirt sheet writers? Are they getting, is it other wrestlers who are getting, favorable write-ups out of them and things like that? And it's ridiculous. I truly believe a majority of what they write is completely made up. And if they, I'm sure they do have a source somewhere in the office or, with the different wrestling companies, but of course they're never going to tell you who that is. No journalist is ever going to tell you who their source is. But, guys, it could be the second floor janitor at Titan Towers. It could be an intern. It could be, an indie wrestler who happened to be used as an extra on Raw that night. That's the whole thing. You'll never know who their sources are, so you don't know how credible the information is. And this goes for everybody from Dave Meltzer, who's the kind of the guru of the dirt sheets, all the way down the line. You have to take everything they say with a grain of salt, because you don't know where it's coming from. And, like I said, no journalist is going to reveal their sources for a story, and that's fine. They don't have to. That's part of the whole freedom of the press thing. I get that. I'm not saying that they should start naming names and where they got the information from, because they'll never get any information again. But, I think they should be truthful about what they're reporting and stop blowing it up or trying to sensationalize it just to get more clicks. Hey, if it's a slow news day, it's a slow news day. You don't have to put something out every 5 minutes to get people to click on your site. But that's just me. I guess I'd make a bad dirt sheet guy, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, so according to Alexa Bliss, she's fine. Her career's not in jeopardy, and according to Nia Jax, she is well ahead of schedule on her rehab on her double knee surgery and will not be out until the first quarter of 2020. So take that for what it's worth. Personally, I'm going to take the word of Alexa and Nia over a couple of dirt sheet guys who have a reputation of just being bad people. That's the best way I can put it. That's the nicest way I can put it. Believe me, I can say it a lot of other ways, but yeah, just not good people. So anyway, let's get into the big story this week. Coming up next Saturday, May 25th. It is 1 week away, and we are talking about AEW Double or Nothing, first ever pay-per-view event under the AEW banner. And yeah, the announcement was made this past week that AEW does have a TV deal with TNT to begin airing this fall. So wrestling coming back to TNT for the first time in 20 years. I know I'm over the moon excited about that. I can't wait to see what kind of weekly programming they're going to put out there. And a lot of people, of course, are making the WCW comparisons, and TNT is going to kill AEW and this and that. I think what a lot of people are forgetting is that, number one, when it came to WCW, Turner Broadcasting owned WCW, so they could run it however they wanted to, and they ran it into the ground. Number two, the people that ran Turner Broadcasting back then aren't there anymore. That company has been bought and sold at least, twice since then. Ted Turner has no involvement in it anymore. It's owned by Warner Media. It's not AOL anymore. I don't think anyway. I don't even think AOL exists anymore. Who knows? But so it's a whole new environment with Turner Broadcasting and TNT. And like I said, they do not own AEW. AEW is owned by the Khan family, and it's run by people who have a knowledge of professional wrestling. I.e. Cody and the Bucks and Kenny Omega and Tony Khan, who's been, at the very least a wrestling fan all of his life. And, so I think AEW is in pretty good hands, and they've got a huge weekly platform to put their product out on. I cannot wait to see it. Also made the announcement that Bleacher Report Live, BR Live, is going to be the exclusive streaming service for pay-per-views for AEW in the United States. Fight TV will be carrying it outside the United States. It'll also be on traditional cable pay-per-view, which is how I'll be watching it. A lot of people complaining about the price. You know, it's $49.99 on uh, on BR Live. You know what, guys? They're keeping it in line with other wrestling pay-per-views. I mean, when's the last time you ordered a WWE pay-per-view through traditional cable? There are still people that do it. Money in the Bank tonight is $54.99. You know, I'll be watching it on the network, obviously, but you know, for people who don't have the network and who still use traditional pay-per-view to get their wrestling, it's you know, it's $55, and there are people who will pay it. I mean, it's, you know, if WWE was not getting pay-per-view buys, they wouldn't put it out that way anymore, but they still are. So, you know, people are gonna watch, and just like I am, I'm gonna order it through my cable company just because I think it'll probably be a more reliable feed. I've never used BR Live, so I can't, you know, say anything about the quality of their streaming service or whatever, but I just, you know, I'm gonna order it through my cable company. I think it's gonna be a great show. So let's break down the card here. First and foremost, match with Hangman Adam Page versus Pac. Reportedly, this is coming from Dave Meltzer, so again, take it with a grain of salt. But it was picked up by every other quote unquote wrestling news outlet out there that Pac has pulled out due to creative differences. Basically, as long as he is the Dragon Gate World Champion, he does not want to lose. I mean, he's done, you know, time limit draws and DQs and things like that, but has not had a clean loss since he has been the Dragon Gate World Champion. And apparently that does not line up with AEW's long-term plans. So Hangman Page made an appearance at an event in England this past week. Pac was in the ring, and Page came out, confronted him. They had a match there, ended in a DQ. And I guess AEW is supposed to put that match out for free on their YouTube channel this week, and to kind of make up for the match not happening at Double or Nothing. Now, do I believe this report? Not 100%, because number one, it's coming from Meltzer. I've yet to see anything from AEW saying yes, this match is off, but we're going to have a replacement, you know, to go against Hangman Page. No word from AEW at all as of yet, confirming one way or the other. It's only coming from Dave Meltzer. So I could see this, you know, going a couple of different ways here. Meltzer could be right. You know, maybe Pac did pull out. Maybe we're going to see a replacement, and you know, Pac's not going to be a Double or Nothing. Or anybody who watches Being the Elite knows that Meltzer and the Young Bucks are you know, they're friendly, they're buddies. So I could see Meltzer throwing this story out there to help them advance a storyline. You know, maybe you know, so that they don't have to you know, don't have to, you know, go out here and say, you know, Pac pulled out or whatever. Maybe it is a case, you know, yeah, Pac doesn't think he should lose, but they don't want to completely scrap the entire match. So, you know, they put this story out with Meltzer. Maybe another opponent comes in, and maybe, you know, Pac shows up in the middle of the match and causes a DQ or a no contest, or maybe he waits till after the match and jumps on Page and things like that. So, you know, but until there's an official announcement from AEW saying, you know, Pac will not be appearing at Double or Nothing, and we will have a suitable replacement opponent for Hangman Page. Until that announcement comes from AEW, I'm assuming that this match is still on as planned, Hangman Page versus Pac. And if that's the case, I'm picking Hangman Page as the winner, because I'm thinking, you know, he's going to be probably one of the main faces of AEW. I mean, he's a tremendous wrestler. He's great on the mic. He's just all around good. He's got a great look, and you know, he's mentioned he wants to be the first ever AEW World Champion. I'm sure he's definitely in the discussion for that. So we'll have to see what happens. But as of right now, I'm saying Hangman Adam Page versus Pac. Hangman Page will be your winner. Next, we've got SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky versus a team called the Strong Hearts. Now, they are from the Chinese promotion, OWE. Shima, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a six-man tag team match. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick all of the AEW office guys to win here, but I have to be honest, I don't know the team of the Strong Hearts, so it's hard for me to pick a winner in this one. But I'll go out on a limb. I'll say SoCal Uncensored in this one. Then we've got Dr. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray in a triple threat match, triple threat women's match. I'm looking for Britt Baker to come out victorious in this one. It pretty much looks like Britt is going to be the face of the women's division as of right now. So we'll see how that one plays out. But she is my pick in this one. Then we've got the another women's match, a six woman tag team match. Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura versus Hikaru Shida, Rio, and Rio Mizunami. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing those wrong. Again, I'm not super familiar with these competitors other than Aja Kong, so I'm not going to pick a winner in this one. But I'm going to, I'm looking forward to it. Like I personally love being exposed to new talent, and this will be the first time I've seen 5 out of 6 of these women. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm assuming it's going to be a fantastic match. I mean, anybody that AEW has signed so far, they have been signed based on their talent, and I'm sure with these women here, it's no different. So this should be a great match. I've got another tag team match. We got the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta versus Angelico and Jack Evans, Angelico and Jack Evans, the 2 newest signees for AEW. I am picking Angelico and Evans for this one. I was a huge fan of these guys in Lucha Underground. I was ecstatic when I saw that they had signed with AEW because they are just ridiculously talented guys in the ring. So I am picking Angelico and Jack Evans over the Best Friends. Let's see. Then we moving on to the pre-show. We got Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. Again, should be just a ridiculous match. I'm gonna pick Sammy Guevara in this one. I'm more familiar with him than I am with Kip Sabian, so I'm picking Sammy Guevara. Then we've got the Young Bucks defending the AAA World Tag Team Championship against the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Rey Fenix. I am gonna pick the Lucha Brothers in this one to take back the AAA tag team titles. Then we have got here Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Now, for anybody that saw their match in New Japan, this match is going to be insane. This will probably be the main event, I would think. I'm sure either Kenny or Cody or the Bucks are going to be the main event of the show, but I'm picking Omega and Jericho as your main event. Yeah, Kenny won their first match. I'm going to pick Jericho to win this one. So we'll see how that one comes out. Then we have got the another pre-show match, the 21-man Casino Battle Royale for the basically the winner gets a shot at the AEW World Championship whenever that is created and a champion is crowned. I like the format of this one. It's kind of like a Royal Rumble, but they've put their own kind of unique twist on it. They're having guys draw playing cards prior to the match, and they're going to have them enter 5 at a time by the suit of their cards. So you're going to have 4 groups of 5 guys in there every few minutes, and then the last man, whoever draws the Joker out of the deck, gets that 21st spot. He's the last man to enter, and obviously, after that, standard battle royal rules: over the top rope to the floor, and the last man standing gets a shot at the AEW World Title. So, curious to see who the 21 guys are going to be. Some of them have been named, but there's still some open spots here. We've got guys like Ace Ramiro, Glacier, Brian Pillman Jr., MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Sonny Kiss, Brandon Cutler. So still a number of spots open in this one. And the over budget battle royal from All In last year was highly entertaining. So I expect this to be no different. And then the last match that I've got here is Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes in a singles match. And this is I think this is one that a lot of people are looking forward to. There's been a lot of people kind of talking crap about it, but I really don't understand why. I mean, this is a match that should have happened in WWE. It would have been a huge draw if it did. They're doing it. They're doing it now. So this is the one I think I am most looking forward to. I've been a huge fan of the whole Rhodes family for a lot of years. So to see Cody and Dustin, getting in the ring against each other, I think it's going to be a fantastic match. And I'm sure we're going to see some kind of surprises going on. Jack Swagger kind of dropped I don't know if I'd call it a spoiler. It could have been strategic, but he was asked if he's going to be debuting at Double or Nothing, and he said he doesn't want to take away from Jon Moxley's debut, so that people kind of went crazy over that for a few minutes about Jon Moxley possibly making a debut at Double or Nothing. And if the situation with Pac and Hangman Page is true, that Pac is not going to be there, I could see Moxley being the replacement opponent for Hangman Page. That would be, I think the crowd would go nuts. There's still speculation that CM Punk could show up. I mean, supposedly he's booked to do commentary for an MMA fight that same night, so I think that's highly unlikely. But you never know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I would have no issue if CM Punk showed up at AEW. So, and then another one, of course, Ty Dillinger, formerly known as Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, is on the indie circuit, and wouldn't surprise me if he showed up, possibly as maybe the 21st man in the Casino Battle Royal or something like that, because that was always kind of his big thing in WWE. Anytime the last couple of years, the Royal Rumble, number 10, you knew who it was going to be. So I think it'd be kind of cool for him to make his entrance that way in the Casino Battle Royale. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got for this week. It's going to be a great week of wrestling. I know everybody is excited for Double or Nothing next week. I know I am, super anxious for next weekend to get here, and just really can't wait. And we've got Money in the Bank tonight. Like I said, I'm looking, I'm hoping that WWE does something special with the women's matches, because you've got, they've got a great opportunity there to push somebody new into the title picture. And yes, I know Lacey Evans is new in the title picture. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying take her out of the title picture, but throw somebody else into the mix. Like I said, my pick is Ember Moon to win the Money in the Bank, and then come down and cash in on Becky Lynch after she has retained both championships, and for Ember Moon to take the SmackDown Women's title eventually. So, yeah, like I said, that's all I got for this week. Once again, thanks everybody for checking out the show right here live on Twitch every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then it will be dropping on all the usual platforms after that on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And thank you to everybody for following and interacting on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. On all of those platforms, it's at CatchHookShoot. And don't forget, check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/catchhookshoot. We've got 4 different tiers with some really cool benefits. So head on over there, check that out, and pick up a t-shirt for yourself at prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. Yeah, I've got four really cool designs that I put together myself. I'm really proud of them. Hope you guys will go over there and check them out. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So next week I will be back with the results from Double or Nothing, and whatever other news or rumors or anything that comes up this next week. So until then, I will sign off for right now, and I'll talk to you guys soon.